Welcome, Brian. Thank you so much for being on the show today. Would you mind introduce yourself a little bit and talk about your journey towards a carnivore diet and your hunter-gatherer mindset page and how did that begin?
Yeah. Well, first of all, my name is Brian Kelly. I'm known on Instagram as Hunter Gatherer Mindset, and that's something that we'll talk about a little bit later on. But
Mhm.
my journey, as it is, started roughly 2 years ago. As you'll see from my pinned posts on my Instagram page, somebody took a photograph on a construction site. I'm a manager of a construction site. And this was in Belgium. And I was horrified by my protruding belly that showed. And I was horrified by the inflammation that showed on my face. And that photograph went onto a WhatsApp group for the site, construction site. So 500 people saw that. And that really embarrassed me.
Mhm.
And that was my why moment, as we call it in the carnivore world. We all have a why as to how we start this process. Yeah, following that, I immediately decided to make changes in my life. I didn't know where I was going with it. I, you know, dug deep into health influencers and stuff like that on Instagram, probably listened to some rubbish advice, but sifted through all that rubbish advice, I found the likes of Barbara O'Neill in New
Mhm.
Zealand. I don't know if you know
Yes.
her. And she taught me some valuable lessons, even though she's not in the carnivore world. She taught me some valuable lessons about carbohydrates and grains and processed foods and all that kind of stuff. And that's what started my journey, is that I started cutting those things out of my life and finding benefits within weeks, you know, just cutting back on the sugars, carbohydrates, cutting out processed foods, eliminating, all these drinks, the Coca-Colas and the Monster drinks and all that kind of stuff. Not that I ever drank them that much, but just making me more focused on what I was putting into my mouth showed me enormous benefits straight away. So I was kind of on that path towards a ketogenic diet,
Mhm.
but hadn't learned exactly what it was all about, and hadn't quite got to carnivore yet. But the more and more and more I dug into these things, the more I found out, and the doctor Anthony Chafee and the more Sean Baker
Yeah.
popped up, and suddenly carnivore became a big thing in my head, that maybe this is the solution to all of my problems. I was suffering from a lot of things. It wasn't just the visceral fat. There were more things to this. I had gout. I
Mhm.
had sciatica for maybe, well, definitely the first instance was 2004, I think it was, that I got a severe bout of sciatica, and had it for many years after that. So yeah, all these things are caused by inflammation, as we know, and sugar and all of that. And the more you dig deep into this, the more you realize that sugar is it's the cause of everything, really. So yeah, just kept digging, and improving, and losing weight, and you know, getting to the stage of carnivore almost. I think it was. I did a. I'm going to tell you this one. You're going to laugh at this. Dr. Sarah Salvador, the lady that has now returned to introducing carbs. Interview with her, and I told her that the last thing that I cut out of my diet that wasn't carnivore were blueberries. And
Uh-oh.
uh, the minute I cut out the blueberries, I could, like, my gout disappeared, my sciatica disappeared. They were almost there, but cutting out blueberries actually,
After how
and
many
and
days?
honey. Oh, within a few days,
A few days.
within a few days, it was shocking. Really, it was. So yeah, it was a process of reduction that got me to the carnivore space. Yeah, it's been a hell of a journey for the last 2 years. You know, losing 35 kilograms wasn't the whole journey. It was losing all the other things that went along with,
Hmm.
as we know, carnivore diet. You know, at my age, I'm 53. I'm a father of three. Losing all these things made me realize, holy damn, we are totally living the wrong lives in the world. You know, it's so daunting and it's so annoying. And once you wake up, there's no going back. I mean, I'm never going to eat these foods again, ever. Yeah, when you look at what's going on around us in the world, you've got the McDonald's and you've got all these, yeah, all these companies that are trying to poison us with absolutely crap food. And it's so annoying to look around and see so many people that are obese that are going around in these Zimmer frames on wheels, totally inflamed. And it's, yeah, something we need to speak up about
Yeah,
because
it's pretty bad here in the US.
it's just as bad everywhere else, believe
Yeah.
me. It is. It is. It may be chronic in the US, but it's very, very close to being chronic everywhere else.
Hmm.
Look at our good friend Dr. Ankur. You know the studies that he's doing in India on heart disease patients and people that come into his ER with chronic. Oh, sorry, with even heart attacks, and he
Hmm.
can't save some of these people because they're of a firm belief that a vegan diet or a high carb diet is the way to go, and they demonize meat. And
Yeah, especially in India.
they're suffering from it so much. It's just unbelievable. You know? So when you add all these things up, and when your mind wakes up, as it does on the carnivore diet, you start to see the reality of what's happening in the world today. But anyway, you asked me about my journey, so I'll continue with that. We kind of diversified a bit, but
That's okay.
um, so yeah, my journey, like I said, I got to the point where the only thing that was outside of carnivore was some fruit and some honey.
Hmm.
And at that point, I had discovered what carnivore was. I was learning about it before I decided to just cut those things out. And when I did, wow, that was a power up. It really was. You know, all of a sudden, after just a month or maybe 2 months maximum, I mean, the visceral fat, the love handles, everything started to disappear. My eyesight got better. Actually, my hair started to get less gray.
Wow. Okay.
You
That's
know,
crazy.
okay, that was over time, but uh, yeah, there's a million things that really.
Hmm.
I mean, my fingernails felt stronger. My teeth were cleaner. My mouth felt better. Yeah, there's a million things that really improved for me. The flexibility in my joints is amazing now. I've recently started sprint, which is
That's
something.
awesome.
Yeah, you know, at the age of 53, I didn't think I'd have the energy or the flexibility that I have now. Uh, and it's all because of diet. It's so amazing. The feeling to be at my age, you know, to have this feeling at the age of 53 that my retirement could be a lot different
Hmm.
because
Yes,
of
for
this.
sure. Sprinting is great. Like a lot of people at
Yeah.
your age never sprint.
Oh, no. You know, if I hadn't gone this way of eating, there's no way I could sprint. No
Yeah, they'll
chance.
probably get injured.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's no way. I had too much pain in my joints. I had, you know, too much fat on me. There was, you know, I suffered. I work in construction, like I said, and I during my day I have to climb staircases quite often. You know, up down between different
Yeah.
floor levels, that kind of stuff. And you know, I was finding that I would have to stop at every floor level just to catch my breath. You know, it's mind-boggling to me that I can now run up that staircase 4 or 5 flights and not even think about it. It's amazing.
Yeah, that's
It
amazing.
really is.
Let's
So
talk
yeah,
about
I don't know. is that enough about my story,
Yeah,
or do you want
yeah.
to hear more?
I want to know in particular what the name of your page, Hunter Gather Mindset, means to you.
Yeah.
Why did you choose that name?
It took me quite a while to get to that point. I was not quite carnivore when I started it, but a lot of the things that popped up for me made sense, including grounding, sunshine, obviously the diet, sleep. All of these things that we now know in this space are, so relevant. So when I put all of those together in my head, I started digging and digging as I do. I just keep digging for information. And I always had a fascination for our evolution and how we came about. And to be honest, it was when you put all those things together, it brings you back to how we evolved, right? We evolved under the sun, barefoot, you know, we hunted. Okay, we may have gathered a little bit if there was something around, but when you put it all together, the things that are making me feel good now are the things that we evolved on. It's only when, farming came into place and when very recently all these processed foods came into play that we're getting sicker and sicker and more obese and more overweight and suffering from all these problems that never existed until
Yeah, well,
recently. And yeah,
yeah, we'll talk
uh,
about that in particular in a little bit.
yeah, definitely. Um, so when I put all that together, I thought about it very deeply. I studied quite a lot about our past. And yeah, I came up with that handle. It probably got laughed at for quite a while, but it
I
seems to
think
be
it's a
making.
great name.
I think it's starting to make sense to people now.
Yeah.
Uh, the more this carnivore community grows, in the bigger sense, I think that it makes more sense to a lot of people. You've got the likes of Dr. Anthony Chaffee talking about it. You've got all, the meat health talking about our jaws and our teeth, and so many other things we'll get into later. Yeah.
Mhm. So,
Uh,
what are the things that you do, like in your daily routine, that brings you closer to this hunter-gatherer lifestyle?
yeah, I'd love to say that I'm a guy that lives in the woods with a spear, but I'm not.
Well, we
Uh,
live in the modern world, but we can do something
we live
more,
in the
you
modern
know?
world, and I have a career. I travel a lot. Between countries in Europe. Yeah, I'm not a guy that lives in the woods with a spear and hunts every day. I'm just a normal, regular kind of person. That and that's why I included the word mindset. Yeah,
Mhm.
it's a mindset. It's to bring you back to how we evolved. It's like a reset, or like I came up with recently. It's a return to factory settings.
So let's get into
Yeah.
the evolutionary process that made us human. And in your opinion, let's talk about a little bit about our past and how we became human and what role meat had in making us more human.
Do you want to start right at the beginning?
We can start at the beginning. Let's see what
Right.
are the most important points.
Okay. Are you familiar with Homo habilis?
Yes.
Good. Right. So he's the guy that came down from the trees and started scavenging,
Mhm.
basically. Right. This is proven. Uh, there is evidence of scrapings on bones from settlements where it's pretty obvious that they shattered and broke bones, skulls. Yeah. So that's number one. They did that to get to the bone marrow and to the brains. And they were left behind by other predators. And somehow Homo habilis found out that by eating this, he felt. So, in a way, that's how we started. As we know now, that our stomach pH is so low, it's equal to that of a vulture. That's how our gut started evolving. It changed at that point. That's 2.6 million years ago. So, following on from that, of course, the brain got bigger because of this. All the fats, proteins, our brains expanded. And Homo habilis, or habilis, whichever way you want to pronounce it, evolved quite quickly in the overall scheme of things. He became a hunter-gatherer. He traded his rock bashing of bones for spears. He discovered how to make spears and to hunt animals. And, over time, all of these things added up. And suddenly, over, 2 million years, suddenly somebody decided that it was a good idea to start farming grains. And after that, we see evidence that the brain started shrinking. Yeah, it came down by, I think it's 11%. So, yeah, when you look at our entire evolution, you can see that it's only in the last 12,000 years that we started changing things that we had evolved to do. We took down woolly mammoths with a bunch of guys with spears. And now all of a sudden, oh, it's just easy farming. But even though farming started 12,500 years ago, most of it, as far as I've researched, was animal farming. Right? They didn't just go straight in and clear out fields and grow crops. A lot of it, based on archaeological evidence in Ireland, for example, there's evidence of a area in Ireland from 6,000 years ago where they had farms, they had homesteads, but most of it, they had areas for animals. They had walled areas for animals right throughout our history, right up to medieval periods, right up to 200 years ago.
Mhm.
A lot of it was about animals. You look at the Vikings, you look at the Celts, they always had animals. So it's only very recently that we've gone completely off the wall and started introducing these rubbish foods in the last not 200, just 100 years ago. We've added all this rubbish into our diet and suddenly we're all sick. So, like I said, when I talked about the Vikings, and, you look at any tribe or any warrior uh, nation up to 100 years ago, they would have been highly dependent on meat for their warriors to be strong.
Mhm.
You know? So um, that's my opinion. That's a quick rundown on everything from start to finish. But you know, any questions you have?
Yeah, so about 10,000 years ago, you said we started eating more grains.
Yeah,
And so
exactly.
what's wrong with these grains in terms of nutrients
Right.
that
Okay. Well,
they don't
well,
have that we need?
no, they don't, and they include stuff that are harmful, as we know in this space. All grains turn to sugar in the
Mhm.
blood. So yeah, and it started having an adverse effect. The brain needs cholesterol. We get into it later, but yeah, it was a bit like them setting up a McDonald's, if you want to put it that way. It was like it was convenient food. They didn't have to be a nomad tribe anymore. They could get sustenance from grains. Yeah, but they didn't understand what it was doing. It was like a divide at that point because the nomadic tribes had suddenly decided they were going to make these settlements. And there was obviously some class distinction at that point because they kept the meat in their diet, but bread or whatever they discovered bread, or they were still more dependent on meat.
Mhm.
They, right, take it to medieval times. You've got the castle and you've got the peasants. You know what I mean? You've got the
Yeah.
king, the queen, and you've got the peasants. Uh, it would have been the peasants that had the bread, not the king, or
Yes, of course.
not the royal knights or any of that. And the royal banquets would have been meat heavy, you know. So I think when you look at all of history, the Romans, all their warriors would have had meat heavy diet, and all the peasants would have had more of the breads and all of that. And you look at every tribe, or what would I call it? Nation that tried to take over other nations, like the Mongols, for example. Their warriors ate meat. They could fast for 4 days while traveling. on foot, and then they would eat again, which was again a kick back to our hunter-gatherer days.
So, hunter gatherers mean that we did hunt, but we also sometimes gathered some food from the earth.
Yeah,
And some people, a lot of people would say, like, we weren't just eating meat, we were eating plants, but they don't
yeah,
realize that the plants we were eating were so profoundly different from the plants and the fruits that we have available now at the grocery store or year long. So, could you like explain a little bit about these differences and how the seasonality of food had an impact on human
absolutely,
evolution?
absolutely. I mean, yeah, we've all heard this kickback, and especially me with my hunters. The term hunter-gatherer, we don't exactly know where it came from. I'm pretty certain that it was almost 100% meat based. They may have come across some honey and some berries, but I mean, if you walked into a forest tomorrow and you saw a lovely tree with some juicy looking berries on it, would you go and pick them and eat them? I'm certain I
Well,
wouldn't,
yeah, I don't know because I don't know if
unless you were
they're
100%
edible or
certain.
not. Yeah.
Exactly. Well, go back to hunter gatherer days. I mean, they didn't have Chat GPT or any of these things to look up, is this very safe for me? So I know that if I was in that era, I certainly wouldn't eat something that I wasn't certain was good for me. So, you know, maybe some of them might have tried it, but it took a few deaths to figure out which are the ones that are not poisonous. So, in my mind, I don't think they gathered that much. I think the gathering
Mhm.
was more scavenging. I'm not going to shout about it, but I don't think we gathered as much as what they're saying.
So
I
what's the
mean, you look at
difference
you look at
between
all the cave paintings and all of that. It's all
yeah.
about the hunt. It's all about the hunt. There's no indication, yeah. And if you look at what they call a stable isotope um,
Analysis?
evidence,
Yes.
it's pretty conclusive that we were almost 100%
Hmm.
carnivore. Pretty conclusive.
Yeah, the apex predator,
Apex
highest on the
predator.
food chain. Yeah,
We ate
exactly.
mammoth, we ate whale, we ate seals, we ate, whatever was available. We were apex predators.
Mhm.
And, we get these arguments about, oh, your teeth are this, your teeth are that. You don't have like a saber tooth tiger teeth. No, we don't. But when you break it down, we have teeth that are specifically designed to cut meat off the bone. That's what the incisors are for. Okay, we've got the canines, which is for digging deeper, and then we've got the molars, and they are not designed to chew sideways. I'm sorry. Have you tried to chew sideways? You
No.
cannot. You cannot. You can do it, but it's just it's a discomfort.
Hmm.
But we are designed to chew up and down,
Yeah.
and that's to pulverize meat. Simple as that. You look at any toddler that's breaking his teeth or her teeth through, what are the first teeth that come through? It's the incisors. It's the one that grabs the meat. So, you know, I could talk for teeth for ages. I could talk about teeth for ages. I don't know if you followed Meat Health or not. He has some amazing posts. Um,
Yeah, and it doesn't mean anything because if you look at hippos or if you look at gorillas, they have these massive teeth. But
exactly.
it's for defense. It's not for eating.
Exactly. Yeah. We
So
don't need to go out
yeah.
and grab a zebra by the neck and, cut off this carotid artery or whatever.
Hmm.
We don't need to do that because we're smart enough to throw a spear and kill it from a distance. And these arguments are so useless. It's annoying. I don't answer them most of the time, to be honest. I've
Hmm.
stopped answering a lot of them because they don't make any sense.
So what changes did we see in our teeth from the very beginning to when we were like, developing a bigger brain, a smaller gut, and then after agriculture, what happened?
Yeah, well, that's when we see the rise in tooth decay and the rise in crooked teeth and the need to take out the wisdom teeth because there isn't enough room in the jawline. And that's only a modern thing, really. It's only the last, like I said, maybe the last 100 or 200 years
Hmm.
that our teeth are not fitting in our head basically, and that's why the wisdom teeth have to come out because nothing fits properly because our
Sounds
jaws
great.
have shrunk. Our jaws
Hmm.
have shrunk. When you look at the skeletal makeup of a hunter gatherer, I mean the jaw is bigger and squarer and can accommodate the teeth. And you look at any fragments that they have or that they have found of the hunter gatherers, they had perfect teeth. Yeah, so this is only a recent thing. It's only in the last, I suppose, 1,200 years. Sorry, 12,000 years, should I say,
Hmm.
that the teeth has become a problem.
Yeah.
It was never a problem up to that because they were eaten as species of diet.
Hmm.
You don't see a lion or a tiger with like crooked teeth. Well, there may be the odd birth defect, but in general, they have um, perfect teeth that act as they should. They don't have tooth decay. They don't have
Yeah.
all these things that we suffer from because we are not eating as we should.
So going back to the plant conversation, what are the main difference that we see between those wild kinds of plants that we could maybe have eaten sometimes and these new modern kinds of plants? Because like people think those plants existed, for the whole time we were on Earth, and people were gorging themselves on mangoes and bananas and all of these kinds of fruits, but it's
Yeah.
not exactly what happened.
Uh-uh. No. Again, go back 2 million years. What grew on the planet then is nothing like what's growing now in these avocado farms in straight lines and these, whatever fruit or vegetable you want to pick. They were never distributed by airplanes and ships worldwide out of season and put on grocery shelves to look amazingly juicy and colorful and full of goddamn fructose. That didn't exist back then. Think about it for Christ's sake. Like I said earlier, most of it you wouldn't have eaten in the wild. You would not have eaten
Yeah, because they
plant.
don't even
They
exist.
they didn't exist at all in any shape or form. Okay, they
Yeah,
might have
it's
been
funny.
like really tiny and really bitter things, but like I
Mhm.
said, you throw back to the gathering aspect of what I was saying. What was there to gather? They may have had some roots or some, I don't know, some plant matter for maybe medicinal purposes as they evolved.
And even
Yeah,
then, the roots were very different. It's not the big, juicy potatoes and carrots that we have
exactly.
now.
Yes, exactly. Having gone carnivore, you realize that these things didn't exist at all in the wild previously. Candace, I think is her name, she did a video out in the rainforest, and she said, "We're out here looking for food, and we can't find a damn thing that you could eat."
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, that tells you just walk into a rainforest, see what you can find that you can eat and be sure of. It's
Hmm.
not there unless it was introduced recently.
Yeah.
It's just not there.
Yeah. The last month I went to Sequoia National Park, and the drive to the national park, it was all plantations of oranges. Like the
Hmm.
whole 3 hours drive, it was only oranges. And then we got to the forest and there was no fruit, no
Right.
vegetables, nothing to eat, of course, right? And I was like, oh,
Exactly.
so I guess oranges don't grow in the wild.
I wouldn't imagine so. No, I haven't
Yeah,
seen them. I mean, the only thing that might have happened, they may have had honey. Yeah,
yeah, but that was rare.
exactly. Yeah, that was an occasional kind of a win,
Hmm.
I
And it
guess.
was
And
dangerous to get
maybe
as well.
they may, yeah, it was dangerous. Yeah, and they may have got some carbohydrates to that, and the glucose that goes with it. But
Mhm. And even if they found some berries or like some type of other wild fruit, it would be towards the end of summer. And so that would be
exactly, very
beneficial
seasonal.
for them to put on a little bit of weight, to prepare to potential famine.
Yeah. Well, I compare this to what a bear does. The bear fishes salmon all through the summer, and it gets to fall, and they fight each other for berries before they hibernate. They fight to put on fat, and they fight to eat berries. Does that tell you anything?
Even they
That
know.
even they know that they need to put on fat to survive the hibernation through the wintertime. So when they come out of hibernation, they've slimmed down. Basically, they've used that energy and that fat. When you think about it, it makes sense that when people eat carbohydrates and fructose and sugars from fruit, they get fatter, they get sicker. And that's my kind of take on it. I think that we may have done the same in the fall when we got to the stage that we knew the berries that were safe to eat, because it took people dying to check whether that berry is safe.
Okay, so Brian, can you describe a little bit of your daily diet and do you include fasting in it?
Yeah, fasting was a big part of my journey. I learned about it quite early on. Even when I was in the kind of keto space before I found carnivore. I had learned quite a bit about fasting and related it to my handle, let's say, because when you think about it, hunter gatherers, when they're leading up to a hunt, it could have taken days, but yet they were still able to stay focused and eventually get the hunt and eventually gorge on meat. And that's kind of what I do now. Is that I can do a 3 day fast quite easily, and then I will chow down on the best meat I can find. I always go for regenerative farms as much as possible. Okay, if I'm stuck, I go to the supermarket and get the best ground beef I can find. But uh, I have that kind of pattern where I do intermittent fasting kind of every day. At the moment, I'm eating one meal a day,
Per
but
meal.
I break it mostly,
Mhm.
yes. I eat around, I have an eating window between 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock
Mhm.
that I try to fit my meal into. But sometimes I break that and I'll go 9 o'clock and I'll eat again at maybe 4 o'clock.
That's still very
So
good.
two smaller meals. I'll never eat past 4 o'clock.
Mm.
Uh,
Why don't you eat past 4 o'clock?
because I don't think that it's a good idea to go to bed with a full stomach because your gut is working overnight. Your gut should be sleeping overnight
Mhm.
and resting and cleaning things up. That's what it's supposed to do. So, in my opinion, and what has worked for me, and I believe has helped me to lose a lot of fat and a lot of inflammation, is to vary it. That's why it's called intermittent fasting. You should vary it
Mhm.
because the hunt was never certain. You could go get a hunt within 6 hours, or you might have to walk for days, and eventually have that energy to go for a sprint, which is something that I also introduced recently. I'm going to post soon about. But so you should be able to hunt for days and break into a sprint to get that hunt. And that's where we find in the carnivore world or the carnivore space that if you're getting the proper nutrition um, and you go on a fast for a couple of days, you feel so much invigorated and so energetic after a few days. And you would think that, oh, you're going to feel sleepy, you're going to feel tired. You're not. Your body is tuned in to how we evolved to go and get that mammoth or go and get that antelope or go and get that seal, whatever it may be. And when the ketones take over and you eventually, feel that primal urge to go and hunt, and you go and eat that meal, it's euphoric almost, for want of a better word. So yeah, I've done it 4 days, I think now, and it's really a powerful tool in my toolbox for making my body feel up.
Hmm. So, Brian, what are three simple things that someone could introduce and start doing today to live more ancestrally and eat more close to what a human specific diet is?
Yeah, well, it's quite simple, really. I mean, obviously, cut out processed foods. If you have a packet in your hand, don't look at what's written on the front of the packet. Turn it around and look at what's in food, right? And if you see a list of ingredients that's like 20 or 30 things that half of them you can't pronounce, put it back. That would be my simplest number one start. If you can't read or understand what's in that, put it back,
Put it back.
right? If you can make that start, that's a big thing. Sugary drinks, all these snacks that they say are healthy, they're sugar free, they're full of protein. Anything that's a buzzword on the front of the packet, put it back. Okay, it's not for you. It's not human food.
It's not.
Um, okay, I'm not going to say don't eat fruit, don't eat vegetables. That frightens a lot of people. Okay, uh, I would say look at the ketogenic diet to start with and cut back on carbohydrates. Most people don't understand that carbohydrates turn to sugar in the blood. We don't need it. Full stop.
All
Right? Look at
carbohydrates,
all
even
carbohydrates turn.
vegetables, even fruit.
Exactly. Exactly. So, but even, like I said, it's daunting for people to cut everything out at the beginning.
Yeah.
So, start in steps and cut out the junk, cut out the seed oils. Obviously, that's a huge one. They destroy our metabolism. Even though they say that it's heart healthy, it is not. And think about our ancestry. About the fact that these diseases didn't happen a few hundred years ago. That we've lived for many, many years without these things. And the last thing would be, yeah, look at intermittent fasting is a very, very good tool. Okay, weight loss is not the biggest goal of the carnivore diet at all by any means. It is a byproduct, or what would you call it? A side
Cons-
effect. It's a side
a side
effect.
effect, right?
Yeah, it was my initial reasoning for starting what I did, but having found through being on this lifestyle now for a year and a half, almost 2 years, it's much more than that.
Hmm.
Give it a go. Don't be afraid of it. Is what I would say.
Yeah,
So yeah,
weight
I'd
loss will
probably give
come when you fix your metabolism, you fix your hormones,
exactly. It's about health, not just weight loss.
and it should come naturally, right? People should just
Exactly.
follow their hunger cues. We're not going to count
Exactly. I
calories
mean,
or count macros, any of
like
that.
I've gone into a 2 day fast or 3 day fast and just didn't even think about it, because if I don't feel hunger, I won't eat. I don't
Mhm.
need to.
Yeah,
If my body isn't telling me I'm hungry, then I don't need to eat. So yeah, I've often just said, okay, what time is it? It's 2 o'clock. Okay, I'm not hungry. No, not eating for the rest of the day. It's not a problem. And that's the control that is really mind-boggling to me, the amount of control I have on my own body. And
yeah, and I would say that you can only do that if you follow a human species specific diet. Otherwise, you're gonna have all of those cravings, and you're gonna have the ups and downs of your blood
exactly,
sugar, and your hormones are not gonna be regulated.
exactly,
So it's very hard for someone that it's like on a standard Western diet or even like a vegetarian diet or a vegan diet to fast because
yeah,
they're addicted to carbohydrates.
exactly. Well, that and dopamine, I guess, is a big thing as
Mhm.
well. You look at your screen time and all the other things. all the other factors that that bring you away from your circadian rhythm,
Mhm.
uh, that I've dropped. I mean, without even thinking about it. Like I don't even know why I have a Netflix subscription anymore because I haven't looked at it in the last 12 months. I
Nice.
keep it for my daughter. I think that's about it. Uh, I don't think the only thing I've looked at is Animal, the movie, the documentary, in the last 12 months. I
Awesome.
don't do it.
Mhm.
I'm either studying or digging deeper into this lifestyle or being interactive on my page. I just don't have the time for all these things anymore. So yeah, I don't have the same habits I used to have. Where it would have been relax on the
Mhm.
sofa with some snacks and watch Netflix mindlessly for no
Mhm.
reason and then go to bed. Those days are over. They're well gone.
You're more like a hunter gatherer now.
Uh, a little bit more, yeah. But I won't. Like I said
I know. I'm
earlier,
just joking.
yeah. It's mindset. But
All
yeah.
right, awesome, awesome. So, where can people find you? Find a little bit more of your
Well, to be
work.
honest with you, most of what I'm doing at the moment is on Instagram, and you'll find me at Hunter Gatherer Mindset.
Hmm.
I'm also involved in a little community project called the Carnivore Community, and I'm an administrator there. Uh, you'll find that by the Carnivore.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's underscored between the words. Yeah,
and you have an
and
open group, right? That people can join if they want.
yeah, we just started a new open group. Yeah, it's called the TCCW. That's the Carnivore Community Worldwide Village. It's growing. It's growing. So it's
Yeah,
good.
no, it's awesome.
Good
It's
fun.
awesome. It's good.
Yeah,
Good place for people to talk and share their
yeah.
experience,
The
ask questions.
conversations that are coming up in the village, which is open to the public. Please go and jump in. Anyone that's listening. Some of the topics and some of the stories are absolutely unbelievable. We have everything from people curing cancer, brain tumors, anorexia, from
Yeah, tired problems,
every,
all of it.
yeah, from every age group and every kind of end of the spectrum, so to speak. I mean, all sorts of people worldwide are sharing their stories, and it's powerful. It really is. It's
It
lovely to
is
witness. Yeah,
awesome. Well, it was a pleasure having you on today. Thank you very much.
absolutely
And
a pleasure
yeah,
to be here, Alessandra. I
hopefully
was
we
really looking
can
forward.
talk more another time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. 100%. Really enjoyed it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, me too. Thank you, Brian.